Uh, I need to stop swinging. So this video we're going to kind of talk about why I have not been loving the weather of 2022 so far. Like, I really haven't. First of all, the last time the low temperature got below 50 degrees was either May 9th or 10th, depending on who you're using. Of the two I used, Dark Sky and AccuWeather. AccuWeather said it was May 9th, Dark Sky said May 10th, but Dark Sky changes all the time. So that was the reason time it got into the 40s. And given the forecast, I don't think it's going to be hitting that anytime soon, because typically that happening in early June, particularly rare. Not going to say it's never happened, but if it isn't in the forecast this deep into the year, it's really either September or October. And compared to last few years, 2020 was June 1st, 2021 it was May 31st when it hit the smoke last. This is obscenely early because typically once you hit the smoke, it really, I mean, Now, of course, there are some days that look to get close to 50, so we'll have to see if it can seep under them. And there have been some days in the past that have gone below 50, they just weren't able to maintain it. But, in the last day got into the 40s, again, conflict, because AccuWeather is saying it was April 18th, Dark Sky says it was April 29th, but AccuWeather says on that day it only got to 40 degrees. And really, the low temperature of May, according to AccuWeather, is 40 degrees. That's warmer than the 42 degrees it was in 2021. So really, it's been just a temperature yo-yo, and I'm being serious, because January started off as a continuation of the record warm December that we had. Multiple days broke 60 degrees. And only a very slight couple of days pushed into the 20s. It was obscenely above average, not just here but across the country, which fueled to two record-breaking storms. A tornado outbreak in the month of December that, let's put it this way, both the deadliest and most most tornadoes in an outbreak in December happened this year, and the deadliest outbreak did spawn the most tornadoes of an outbreak in December until it was broken just 5 days later. Some of the temperatures were insane. It literally got to the mid-70s in Iowa in December. That just does not happen. And that storm was able to shoot it all the way down to the 30s. But in 2022, January got up to 50 to 59 degrees depending on who you're using, but then the temperatures crashed after that. It got to 36 degrees by midnight, and by the next morning it was already down to 30. January 3rd, we had a fair amount of clouds, and Winter Storm Frida was to the south. This would cause 5 people to lose their lives and about $500 million in damage. And as a result of the storm, it couldn't rise at all. So by the next day, you were already kind of down to my friend texted me, so I'm gonna have to. He'll just have to wait. So then, it can push down. It got to 23 by midnight. By the next morning, it was 19. The next day did show some mercy and rose to about 35, but January, say for a few days, would really be below average. But February would be a bit above average. There was a day in February, I was in Seattle, so I'm kind of grumbly, where according to Dark Sky got to 68, and according to AccuWeather got to 69. Near record highs for February. It had a storm. But it actually was behind the storm because of the delayed cold front that pushed the temperatures up to about 50. And February got above 50 multiple times. In 2022, in January, only the second and the first were able to shove it above 50, with the first having the highest low temperature in January of 49 degrees. It was a bit insane. Now, the thing is that in February, Obviously on a storm on February 4th, it was able to hit that. Then it was able to get to that mark again on February 10th, 11th. February 12th was able to get to 59 or 60 degrees. Though it was crazy because you know about all the times with Denver, it was like one day it was high 80s, next day it was snow. Well, the most equivalent you could have that here happened where on February 12th it was 60 degrees. Maybe 12th, yeah. On February 13th, because the low by midnight got down to 42, and it would cool off to freezing by morning, allowing for some ripe snow to mix in. And the temperature will continue to crash all the way down to 16 degrees, and this happened in 36 hours. That's about the most you could really have here on Long Island. And going back to February, where it was able to hit the nearly 70 degrees, let's just say it got down to 36 by midnight, and by the next morning, it was already down to, by the time we woke up, to around 30 degrees. It was craziness. That's literally like all your warmth just erased like that. It's like going from a mild spring day down into the deepest depths of winter, and it literally happened in 24 hours. That could be one of the greatest drops ever in the history here. Now, I didn't mention in January that time where you had the coldest day of the year with a low of 9, but a high of 42, though that was at midnight, as it warmed up in a prelude to a winter storm, shoved the mercury to 47, and fell right back down to 33 by midnight. These things do happen, but they just weren't super common this year, I guess. Now these insane temperature warm-ups and then just cool-downs, they aren't particularly rare, but they just happen to an excess amount. March too, it would be warm and it would be cold, and that was just kind of annoying in my opinion, not having any kind of stable temperatures. It happened in April too. But once it got to May, the temperatures were unstable for a while, but now they've kind of stabilized and are at near average. Until, of course, what happened this weekend. As you might have heard, on Friday, it got down to about 52 degrees with a high of 70. It only cooled off to 60 by the next morning, and the temperature then seared up to 90 degrees. Making our first 90-degree day of the year, I think probably the same time it happened in 2021. Though this is also our first 80-plus degree day of the year, whereas in 2021 it happened on May 19th. 18th. Damn, I'm losing it. Oh, God. Meanwhile, on May, obviously then the maximum temperature cool down. Now today the low was like about 66, I want to say, and the high was again seemingly hot at about 88, I want to say. It's cooling off a bit due to a cold front, but I mean, the temperature is just like unstable, and I don't really like it either.